I don't care if you're uncomfortable or not. Pull it the together. You've either got this or you don't.
GameTrailers 2012 Best of E3 Awards. Missing in action.
At the biggest video game event of the year, where publishers and developers put on their Sunday best for the world to see, sometimes it's the games which don't show up that make the most noise. The following nominees buck the trend of overplaying their hand by not showing anything at all. But at E3, less isn't always more.
And the nominees are BIOSHOCK Infinite.
You were right. I can't control it. It's not possible.
We already knew that Booker and Elizabeth were taking a sabbatical during this year's festivities, but we're nonetheless left wondering why it was decided not to show anything at all for this hotly anticipated turn-of-the-century thriller. Perhaps it speaks to the team's confidence in its product, a willful withholding of information to keep the game's carefully wrought story and gameplay elements under wraps. Or maybe they preferred to spend their time finishing the game instead of creating a demo. Nevertheless, we're suitably left hanging for this skybound adventure due early next year.
That's him!
Final Fantasy Versus 13.
The so-called antithesis to Final Fantasy XIII may boast a host of fundamental gameplay differences that set it apart from its predecessor, but it's clear that a new direction hasn't done much to improve timeliness on this fashionably late JRPG. 6 years later, Tetsuya Nomura's dream of a real-time and real-life Final Fantasy game remains in a deep, dark slumber. No small surprise for protagonist Noctis, who seems to rather enjoy sleeping on the job. With the game snoozing through yet another E3, we're hoping that this year's Tokyo Game Show can draw back the curtain on this elusive, tentatively titled tale.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
So, I bought a big house. Came here, put my feet up.
Admittedly, ROCKSTAR has always been a bit gun-shy, showing off its upcoming wares at the expo, but without the faintest of new footage in trailer, gameplay, or teaser form, we're curious as to why the trigger still remains unpulled. It's not a huge surprise, but the latest in freestyle crime sure could have made a huge impact with minimal effort involved. The wait goes on for more details on the world's most important sandbox game.
The Last Guardian.
After countless delays, multiple no-shows, and rumors of project mastermind Fumito Ueda flying the proverbial coop, we're not just concerned about The Last Guardian being MIA from yet another E3. At this point, we're worried if the game even still exists at all, despite what Sony reps might say. But we're still holding out hope that this stirring spiritual successor to Shadow of the Colossus may yet see the light of day. If not by Team Ico, then by Sony Santa Monica Studios, which has been rumored to be lending a helping hand to the game's troubled tale.
OVERSTRIKE.
Hey, can I get some coffee in here? Black, 2 sugars.
One of the big reveals from EA last year is a little ditty called OVERSTRIKE, the first multi-platform game from Ratchet & Clank and Resistance developer Insomniac Games. When time finally came to hear more about the new IP at this year's show, news of the tongue-in-cheek spy thriller had mysteriously gone dark. It seems much like the game's protagonists, OVERSTRIKE has gone undercover. We're hoping it's only gone off the grid for just this year and that its mission hasn't been permanently terminated.
Then how do you explain the collateral damage your team leaves in its wake?
Enthusiasm?
And the winner is
Magic.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
With so much excitement built up for ROCKSTAR's next urban opus, there's still little known about it, making its absence from the show all the more conspicuous in our eyes. ROCKSTAR typically releases games not too long after they're shown for the first time, so the odds of seeing it at next year's show aren't good. But we're counting on its grand unveiling in the coming months, world's biggest trade show be damned. If there's one absence that cut us the deepest at E3, it was Grand Theft Auto 5.